Serengeti evening, I pitched my first tent ever in front of these rock outcrops known as the Barafu Koppies. I proved myself as an amateur nest builder, and so I quickly joined my group, who were by then drinking sundowners in the company of a lilac sunset. Shortly after, we retreated to our individual tents and we cocooned up in our sleeping bags. A few hours later, I wake up. My heart was pounding. I was sweating profusely, my core body temperature was rising by the minute, and my breaths were short and shallow, but I didn't know what was wrong. So I went over the possibilities: tick fever, scorpion sting, a puff adder, spitting cobra. What was happening to my body? I wasn't sure yet. And I reached out to my cell phone for a time check, 1:34 in the morning. It's then that I realized that my cell phone lights up the tent, and I notice a whiplash of a lion's tail on the top of my tent. Then it becomes evident to me that something is sniffing me through my tent fabric. And then I realize that I'm not alone, that something is nuzzling onto the top of my head. Then I hear muffled footsteps. It's not just one lion. There's more than one out there. I really am not alone. And as I'm trying to process how to outrun or outthink the situation, I realize there's nothing I can do other than to just control my breath. And so I listen. When I hear the lion inhale, I inhale. When she exhales, I exhale. Breath for breath, we were one. So I would hear her breathe out, and I would breathe out, and it was just a matter of connecting and syncing up, to the point where after a while I forgot that I was prey. I too was a lion, and there was no fear, because there was nothing other than me, and I was everything that was around me. To feel that boundless, to feel united to life around you, to be so close to death and feel so alive, it is so wildly intoxicating and so profoundly life-changing. Moments like that have come to define who I am, what I stand for, and why I do what I do. You see, as humans, we tend to oscillate a lot on our linear timeline. We go through periods of future and past, and we glimpse through our present as if to say that we've completely disengaged from now. We're seldom with our breath, and we're seldom in a state of being, because we're in this frenzy of doing. I've realized time and again through my wild encounters that wild is my religion. It's omnipresent. It is found everywhere in every element, from air to fire to water to earth. It lives within me and it's beyond me. Wild is where we come from. Wild is who we are. Wild is how we'll continue to thrive. We had no part in its conception, but we play every part in preserving it for future generations. I feel that we all need to recognize that we are a part of this pulsating, intricate web of life. We're not apart from it. So through every single creation that I produce, I try to evoke this one truth, that every time we perceive degrees of separation, they're actually degrees of connection. So every time we cull, slaughter, or poach wild for myopic monetary gains, what we end up doing is creating disconnects. We interrupt and inhibit the osmotic dialogue between all living beings that transcends our comprehension of a linear timeline. We break what is otherwise a continuous, complex, and cyclical biological narrative. If I was to compress geological time into 24 hours, we came as a species onto this clock a second before midnight. We've had all this impact in that 1 second. If we were to grow aware of our imprint, which is as pronounced as the meteor that once caused the dinosaurs to go extinct, then perhaps we can choose to evolve that impact into a positive space. Every time I have seen positive impact in this world, it has been through collaboration. Yes, as an individual, I have power, but when I collaborate with other thinking, alert, aware, compassionate individuals, I feel empowered, which is to say, together we make things possible. I believe in the wisdom of the crowds, and I believe in our ability to rise above personal progress and personal differences at a time of crisis. Make no mistake, we are in a time of crisis. We have lost over 50% of the world's wildlife in the last 40 years. If there was ever a time for us to pull up our sleeves and rethink the way we are living, it is now. A few months ago, I uploaded this image onto my social media as a call out to people to fill in the blanks, to promote photo tourism over trophy hunting. Within 24 hours, I had over 2,000 submissions, which enabled me to composite this image, to tell the story of rhino together as a collective. The copy reads, "It takes many shots to tell a story, or just one to end it. Choose a camera, not a rifle. Aim for their future." This image exemplifies the power of people coming together to make a difference. Social media enables daily participation. It also encourages individual voices to speak up, to express instead of suppress. But most importantly, it empowers access to information. The democratization of knowledge, the open access to information, is a driving catalyst for change. Knowing makes all the difference. The more I know today, the less I want tomorrow. Just to extract one tiny band of gold for a wedding ring, we have to basically mine 250 tons of earth that was otherwise pristine rainforest in the Amazon. This has turned me off gold for life, much to the chagrin of my mother and anybody else who wants to ever give me any gold. And I will say this to you, the reason why we buy such extractive commodities is because in some capacity we're trying to make ourselves bigger, to stand for more. And in a backwards way, we are accomplishing that, but it's coming at the cost of other living things. If you were to reconsider this, we are already all-encompassing. Our lineage, our story, it is everything that has preceded us. We are made of stardust, or haven't you heard? So when I look at something as simple as a consumer choice coming to affect how we shape the world around us, and how we can stop banking on extinction, and how we can choose today, in this moment, to open up our wallets differently, to consider how our choices are affecting the world around us, so as to shape a wild future for us all, a wild world for us all. The greatest change we can evoke is to move away from this current obsession with ownership, to amass personal wealth at the cost of public welfare. We need to stop and think about how what we do today comes to affect the generations ahead. We are in debt to the generation ahead, because we're not just inheriting the planet, we're actually borrowing it. We are in debt, make no mistake on that either. But the good news is this: the current paradigm of fueling life with death, it's not the only way to be. It's not an absolute. So I encourage you, the able, the brave, the determined, the compassionate visionaries of this epoch of change, to challenge the status quo, to redesign a failing framework. Because ultimately, I'm not here to preach a formula of success to you. I'm not here to talk to you about a specific way in which you can live that will ensure a wild future for us all. I wake up on most days and I haven't a clue as to how to channel impact from my creative abilities. But the point is that I wake up and I hack away at the issues that affect me on a personal level by simply taking on the responsibility of knowing that these problems are mine to address. I feel compelled to resolve them. I hand that responsibility to you too, as these are our global commons, and you are accountable for them. Hope without understanding seldom evokes action or enables a solution. We cannot simply hope for a better way forward. We cannot simply hope that we will change. We need to apply ourselves and assume responsibility. We need to enact change today to ensure there's even a tomorrow. So here's to now and all the possibilities it holds. Here's to the past that delivered us here. And here's to the future that will see us evolve. My wisdom to you is mud. Viscous, wet, luscious earth. Go stick your toes in it. Dig around. It's the most immersive experience you're likely to encounter, far more guaranteed than any virtual reality out there. It'll help you be present. It'll help you reconnect to the very source of life, the earth beneath your feet as it shifts to your contact. And as you root around in that gooey mud, think about the fact that you are leaving an imprint on the face of this planet. Irrespective of your awareness, you do leave an imprint on this planet. Now, if you grow conscious of that, you can change that imprint and make it positive. Be unafraid. Make your mark now. Thank you.